A viewer sent me this Zelda Ocarina of Time N64 game because they said they didn't think they could fix it and they were hoping I'd be able to. This video is sponsored by iFixit, more on them in a minute. Looking at it from the outside, it doesn't look too bad until we look at this part. This looks like it could have major liquid damage. Let's get it opened up and find out. And for those of you wondering about my shaved head, I've received my first dose of chemotherapy to treat my lymphoma, and my hair's gonna be falling out any day now, so I just decided to shave it off first. In future videos, I'll be entering the Bald Steve era. I've never been bald before, so that's gonna be interesting. Now that I've addressed that, let's get on with the video. So I'll be using the smaller game bit out of iFixit's ProTech Toolkit, the 3.8. Just got these two game bit screws on the back. And then we can get right into this thing. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. Okay, here we go. Let's see how bad it is. And it looks pretty bad. We got to get this metal shield off. Got some rust along here. Screws are rusted. That's not looking great. But getting these screws and this shield off will tell us whether we're going to be able to fix this or not. Hopefully. Whether we'll be likely to be able to fix it. Okay, here we go. What do you think? Is it going to be fixable? Oh my goodness. That looks so bad. Look at it, the metal shield is just covered in rust. Look at this, you can like scrape it off. Rust dust, holy cow. Okay, let's get a little closer in on this. And this is just so much buildup. Got buildup on the battery, buildup on this chip. This could be the worst part. We got to see if any of these legs have been just kind of like eaten away by the rust. This looks like a resistor. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. What else do we have? This capacitor actually looks okay. This resistor also is affected. And then this chip here, it actually looks okay as far as that chip. Let's see what this looks like on the other side of the board though. And surprisingly not that bad. Obviously a lot of rust over here, but it actually doesn't look that bad. So I think to really know how this is gonna do, I'm gonna scrape off a bunch of this rust. And then I think the best thing we can do here is use an ultrasonic cleaner. And that's just gonna get under everything and in every nook and cranny of this thing. Got some corrosion on this battery over here. There's like a hole in the battery? Might be a hole in this battery. That might need to be replaced. Okay, let's try a cleaning brush now. Get even more of this off. Okay, let's get our ultrasonic cleaner set up and get this thing in it. Okay, our solution is nice and hot. So we'll dip our board in. Just like that. And here we go. iFixit makes some of the best precision tools around that are high quality and come with a great warranty. iFixit has basically anything you might need to repair virtually any device. My personal favorite is the iFixit ProTech Toolkit. It's got all the bits and drivers I need to get into almost any device. Along with that, it's got a suction cup, some spudgers, as well as an array of tweezers and other prying devices. But they also offer lots of consumables like their precision cleaning kit. Whenever I have something to clean, especially small electronics, this is the cleaning kit I use. It comes with every brush you could possibly imagine for doing any sort of cleaning on phones, laptops, tablets, anything like that. So if you're looking for parts, tools, consumables, repair information, iFixit is the place to go. And right now they're offering 30% off their iFixit bundles. In addition, they're offering 20% off of soldering tools in their sale collection. If you're looking to learn to solder or if you're a seasoned expert, now is the time to check out their sale collection to get 20% off. You can go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix and I'll put a link right in the description. Okay, and done. Now we have to let it dry thoroughly, and then we can inspect and see how much damage was fixed and how much we still need to fix. We've got it thoroughly dried, and it actually is in better condition than I thought it would be. It's really not too bad. I think this is going to be savable. But what we need to do next is have a closer look at this thing. So let's get it under a microscope and really check out specifically this resistor and these joints, and then also all of the solder joints on this chip and some on this chip as well. Also, I'm noticing some of these pins are very discolored, so we need to have a look at those too. So here we are looking at the pins that connect or slide into the game slot on the console, and there's some sort of like coating on them, but it's coming off pretty easily actually. I'm just touching very gently with my metal dental pick. I don't want to actually scratch these up or anything. Just enough to get this crud off of here. Wow, look at that one. So much on this one. It's very satisfying though. Okay. Now just kind of do a rough clean on these. Get most of it off. Okay, not too bad. We'll do the deoxit clean here in a couple minutes once we inspect the rest of this thing. All right, now let's have a look at some of these solder joints. So what we really need to look for is any solder traces that have been damaged or corroded. Anything like that. These look fine. Wow, those actually are all really nice and clean on this one. A little bit of gunk down in here. Nothing to cause any problems though. Okay, good there. This resistor though is where we need to check. Looks like we do have some rust down inside this joint right here. And then this one, what do we have here? The main thing with these is the other side, making sure that there's a good strong connection on the other side. And then we also need to test these resistors and make sure they're not faulty. Let's have a look at the other side real quick. So these joints look really good. These joints also look really good, so I'm not worried at all about those. Let's test these resistors though and see if they're good or if they're bad. So DigiKey has a really cool tool that you can use to identify resistors and what their reading is supposed to be. So what I have here is it's all set up for this resistor on the board that had the most liquid damage, and what I'm doing is reading the color code. So the first one is brown. The first ring to the left of the resistor is brown. The second one is black. The third one is yellow. And then we have a gold band, and that is just the tolerance level of 5%. The yellow band is the multiplier. Yellow is times 10 kiloohms. And then the brown and the black, the first two bands are just the identifiers. So that gives us these colors. This represents our resistor right here. And the resistor should have a value of 100 kiloohms plus or minus 5%. So now I have my multimeter set on ohms. I'm going to put one probe on one side of the resistor, one probe on the other side of the resistor. Make sure we get a good connection. And there we have 99 kiloohms, which means this resistor is within the specs that it should be. So this resistor is good. Now earlier I called this a resistor. This is very clearly a capacitor, just an old style capacitor that I'm not used to working with. Now unfortunately for capacitors, the only way to test them with a meter is to test them out of circuit. That means that the only way to test this is to remove it from the board and then use the meter to test it. And then these color codes are similar to the resistors in that you can use these codes to determine what the value should be on this capacitor. I think what I'm going to do on this board is leave these capacitors on the board. There's that one, there's one here, and then one up at the top. They all look fine. That doesn't necessarily mean they are, but they look fine. Oh yeah, and we have one more down here. So I think I'm going to leave them in, and then we'll just see if this thing works when we're all done. If it doesn't, then we can start inspecting these capacitors if needed. I can't believe that so far there's nothing wrong on this board. This looked so bad when we started, but let's check this battery and see if that needs to be replaced. I think it's probably going to. These are like gouges in the battery right here. So I feel like this battery can't possibly be good, but let's check it. We got our multimeter set on DC voltage. One probe on one pin, one probe on the other, and we get 0.146 volts. So that battery definitely needs to be replaced. Let's get that done and then get these pins cleaned. And what I'm going to use is some solder wick on these large joints. I'm going to first, of course, flux them up. Need to use plenty of flux each side. There we go. Now we'll turn on the fume extractor. There we go. I'll set it over here to suck away any of these nasty fumes. Then I'm going to use my large soldering iron to come in and heat up the wick. And the wick will in turn suck up the solder. As the wick gets full, I need to keep moving down the wick just to let the solder keep flowing into the wick. And that looks pretty good. There's a little bit on this side I want to get still. Can. Okay, there we go. That side's good. Now we'll get this side. And the other side. Okay, there we go. That battery is just falling right out. Definitely got a lot going on underneath this battery. There's a lot of corrosion there, so that's good we're replacing this. Now we'll take our replacement battery and push it inside those holes. Right there and right there. Actually, let's clean this board real quick, just to make sure it's as clean as we can get it under here. That's as clean as it's gonna get. Now we can line up our battery, push it in. Now we just need to solder these two pins down. We'll be good to go. Need a bunch of flux. These are big pads, so it's gonna take a lot of heat and a lot of solder. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna heat up the joint just like this. Then we'll just keep adding solder as needed. It's gonna take a lot, so. That looks pretty good. Same as over here. Now let's clean up our excess flux. Okay, and there we go. Nice, not brand new. I had to steal this from a different game, but nice working battery. Let's just double check and make sure there's good voltage in that. I did test it before, but we'll test it again just to show it on camera. There we go, 3.077 volts. Would it be better to replace it with brand new? Yeah, probably, but that's plenty of voltage for this thing to work. All right, now let's get these pins cleaned up. For this, I'm going to be using some deoxit and some magic eraser. I know that's a little controversial as magic eraser is abrasive, but it is minorly abrasive, and what we need for these pins is to take off the coating of gunk. So I'm not going to press super hard. I'm going to press just hard enough to hopefully get the gunk taken off and create a nice shine on these pins. And more importantly, a good connection. And other side. More deoxit. And more magic eraser. I don't usually clean the deoxit all the way off of this. I try and go over it with a cotton bud just to make sure that any debris or loose pieces are taken up. But then I kind of leave a bit of deoxit on the pins that supposedly helps the connection with the game console. So we'll see. We know the resistors are good, the chips look good, all the solder joints look good, the battery's good. So I think we're ready to try it out. Now I am also doing a basic cleaning on these metal pieces and the game cartridge case itself. And just looking at this one, this is where the battery was touching right here and then also down here. So this actually might be leaked out battery acid down in here. I'm not totally sure, but this is definitely where the battery contacted this metal plate and part of the reason there was holes in it and why there was nothing left in the battery. So we're just kind of doing a basic cleaning. This doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to look better than it does at least. It's not going to be perfect just because of all the metal corrosion we have going on here. But we'll get it looking better and then we'll get it put back together. And that's definitely not perfect, but much better than it was. All right, let's give it a test and see if all that work was worth it. Okay, we've got our N64 all hooked up, inserting the game. There we go, powering it on. Let's see if it works. Good so far. And Zelda totally works. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get this game working when I started the video, but I'm so glad to see it working at the end. If you like this type of video, I recently tried to fix 10 broken game cartridges from various Nintendo consoles. I'll put that video up on your screen now so you can come hang out with me over there and see if I can fix those. Thanks so much for watching today. Don't forget to go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix, and I hope you have a good one.